In this video, we'll be learning how to cut and sew a simple crop top with a stretchy fabric. This is the fabric for the sleeve, and the sleeve is going to be a puffy sleeve. This fabric for the body of the top is a stretchy fabric. So I'm just going to fold my fabric into four, putting the bust into consideration. Since the bust is always bigger than the waistline, and since this is a crop top, the length is going to stop a little bit below the waistline. So I'll measure the bust and then fold it into four. Then for the length, I measured the length. I added just half-inch allowance. This half-inch is what I'll use to join the shoulder line. I will not be folding it down. I'm just going to leave it as the edge. Then the next I did was to divide the shoulder line by two. I marked that. Then I measured the armhole. Our actual armhole is 21, but in this case I used 8 because the fabric is very stretchy. In fact, I used 7, and then I marked a armhole curve. I divided our bust by 4. I marked that. Our waistline divided by 4. I marked that. Then for the neck, I used neck width of 3, that's 6 on fold of 2. Then neck depth of 1 for the back and 3 for the front. I marked front and back neckline. Then I slanted the shoulder downward with half-inch and I proceeded to cutting it out. I cut the neckline for front and back together at first since they are both round neck before removing the front and then retrimming the neckline. Then I cut facing for front and back together. I used the back to cut facing for front and back together at first. It is when I'm sewing it that I'm going to retrim the neckline for the front on the facing after turning. Now for the sleeve, I already cut the sleeve off camera, but I'll be explaining what I did. I folded my fabric on bias. In fact, I'll pick up a piece to explain how I cut the sleeve. So let's say this is your fabric, you're going to fold it on bias. Like you fold it into like a triangular form, and you're just going to measure the armhole divided by 2 of that with our sewing allowance. So our armhole is 21. I measured 10 and a half here, and I still have half inch sewing allowance. That, and then you measure the length, your desired length for the sleeve. That was what I did. The next is to start sewing. So right side of my facing the right side of my main fabric. I turned the neckline first. Then I was done turning the neckline. I trimmed out the neckline. You know, I mentioned I'll be retrimming the front neckline, and then I flipped it to the right side, and this is what I have. I'm just going to stitch the 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 facing down to the actual fabric on the armhole so that when I want to sew it's not just shaking everywhere. You know that this fabric is not stable at all. It is a very shaky fabric. So I turned the neckline for the back as well. I faced the lining right side facing the main fabric. Now to turn the shoulder line, you're just going to do the exact thing that I'm doing. Your facing will be up for the back, and then you put the front on it. You can pin that down on both sides before stitching. So when I was done turning, you know, this fabric is very stretchy. I proceeded to shaping. Because this fabric is stretchy, I even had to remove 1 inch from our actual measurement. So I shaped her bust, her waistline. I didn't bother measuring. I just removed 1 inch from my actual measurement, and then I proceeded to shaping. And you remember that I'm not going to be folding the down of this top because the down is the edge of the fabric and it is a very neat and fine edge. So I left it like that. Now to sew the sleeve, the first thing you will do is to fold it down in a way that tiny elastic can pass. Whatever you are folding has to be wide enough to accommodate your elastic and the safety pin that you use to pass the elastic. So I folded mine and I proceeded to passing my elastic into the channel that I've created. After passing the elastic, you are going to stitch it down with a straight stitch, more like you are going to shape the sleeve. And after shaping this, the next thing to do basically is just to stitch your sleeve on your top. You know, you have to stitch the sleeve on the armhole. And after all being said and done, my top came out looking like this. Isn't this simply beautiful? So I made this top with a wrap skirt, which I'll be uploading tutorial on how I made the wrap skirts in my next video. But for now, here is the outcome of the top. I hope someone found this video helpful and interesting. Thank you for sticking with me from the beginning of this video till this point. If you are still here, and in case you have any questions, don't forget that the comment section down below is opened to accommodate all your questions. And I did not even introduce myself. My name is Oluwatosin. In case this is the first time you are coming across my channel, and you're welcome. Consider subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification bell so that you will get notified when next I upload new video on this channel. Like I mentioned, this top is made with a wrap skirt, a beautiful wrap skirt, as you can see on your screen, and I will be uploading this in my next video. Bye.